Well, we've done everything we can to preserve this country, and when they tell us we're not environmentalists, they're talking to the wrong people, because it has been our backyard. We've taken care of it like anybody does, their own home ground, but we still want access to it. And if they're going to have the Green Gestapo and the police state, they should at least keep our roads up and give us access.
Start of the Frank Church Traverse.
Bye, guys.
Love you.
Love you too. I'll keep in contact.
Say love you, Dad.
I will, Dad.
This trip was different than other trips because being so remote, where in the winter people can't travel out to those places to rescue that easy, that was much different.
This is the start of the Frank Church Traverse.
I remember the day when my wife and my son, they dropped me off and I was in tears.
And just said goodbye to my family. And I hate saying goodbye to my family.
Away from them, and just the unknown really gets to me.
Yeah, it's very hard to say goodbye to my family. I don't like it.
I have zero friends to say, hey, come with me to the ski tour, so I knew that this trip would have to be solo.
You have to dial down your whole level of activity to a point where you're paying attention to the fact that you really can't get hurt.
It's winter. The cold temperatures, avalanche danger.
And it's not like you can look out and go, oh, there's a radio tower, or there's a town, or there's a road, that's where we're headed. No, there's none of that.
You're out alone, you have no one to talk to. There's a million things you're thinking about, so the mental stress is pretty intense.
My route started at the South Fork of the Salmon River. I would travel all the way to Trout Creek Campground on the first day and take a long road all the way up to Johnson Creek Airstrip. From there, I would go up Roridan Creek, which would bring me to the border of the Frank Church Wilderness at the headwaters of Indian Creek. I would climb up to Big Baldy Ridge and work my way to the Middle Fork of the Salmon at Indian Creek Airstrip. Follow the Middle Fork Trail all the way to my resupply at Thomas Creek. I would continue on the Middle Fork Trail until I landed at Loon Creek. I would then follow Cache Creek and hike all the way to the base of Sleeping Deer Mountain. From there, I would connect to the Forest Service Road 86, a high-altitude road that would prove to be one of the most challenging aspects of the hike. That would lead me all the way to Chalice. In total, I would cover about 110 miles. It would take me just under 2 weeks to finish. Total elevation gain is 30,000 feet. And I'd start the traverse at the end of February and end at the beginning of March.
Going solo ski packing in such a remote place is actually pretty intimidating. Where you're free from a trail, you're free to set whatever route that you want to explore. That idea is just so freeing to me.
Right up there is the saddle. My spirits are high for the most part, which is really good. The worst thing is to get your spirits low. I'm gonna transition right here and then ski down this drainage.
It's very empowering to feel like you can do it without the help of a machine.
It's more as if I didn't even come alive until I came here.
When you find out that your own 2 feet can take you hundreds of miles, then you just think anything is possible.
This is the most magnificent country in the world.
I guess I'm at the place I was born to live in.
The experiences of seeing the vastness of the wild are unmatched. It stretches you as a human being. In a sense, you become a different person. I don't need barely anything besides my feet, the right clothing, tent, equipment, and then I can do this. When you go there, you feel some bit of history. You know people have walked here, not too many, but people have.
There was nobody in the world, I think, that loved those mountains more than Jim Collord did. And he not only carved a living out of that land for himself, I believe that he once employed as many as 250 people at the Sunnyside. The Forest Service showed up one day and said, everything here is going to be wilderness and we're going to take your land away from you. Jim Collord was getting kicked off of his mining claims by the Forest Service, who basically told him, as you read some of the documentation, that he's mostly using it for a hunting camp, that he's not actually mining. And that didn't work because they hired some independent geologists who went back there and verified that there actually was up to 3 ounces of gold per ton, which is a world-class claim.
Well, Jim didn't like the Forest Service because of their high-handed attitude toward the mineral rights that were legitimate.
Well, okay, well, you got a claim back there and you can mine it all you want, but you can't use that road. We're not going to let you drive to it, or you can't haul supplies to it.
So they brought in big, huge rocks as big as those chairs and put them, and they just made it wide enough so you could get a four-wheeler through it, but not a car or a Jeep. So they limited access in that regard.
If you can't access your mining claims, you basically don't have a mining claim.
When they went up and burned the buildings, on the McRae mine up on Elk Summit, he was pretty upset.
He filed a lawsuit on 3 claims. 2 of them he got to retain. The judge awarded Jim Collord over $550,000 because they said that it was egregious as to how the Forest Service had deliberately stripped him of his rights.
The Homestead Act and the 1872 mining law made this nation, and we have people in the East who are senators and representatives that have been there till they're old and senile making laws for the West. I resent it very, very much. And I think that the West should take care of itself, and I think we got plenty of wilderness. I think that every inch of this ground belongs to us. It's the people of the United States. It doesn't belong to the Sierra Club. It doesn't belong to the Greenpeace. It doesn't belong to the animal rights activists. It belongs to us, the people, and we should be able to use it. And I get upset about it. This is the most magnificent country in the world till they started letting the squirrel mines rule it. I just feel that well, we've done everything we can to preserve this country, and when they tell us we're not environmentalists, they're talking to the wrong people because it has been our backyard. We've taken care of it like anybody does, their own home ground, but we still want access to it. And if they're going to have the Green Gestapo and the police state, they should at least keep our roads up and give us access.